Hello there. Greetings from Xerxez IT Training and Projects. So, in this tutorial, we are going to discuss about another technique uh, of the programming called looping statement. We'll try to discuss about how to use loop statement in Julia programming language. So, as far as loops are concerned, I'm going to demonstrate three types of techniques here. One is called for loop. Next, simultaneously, we'll try to discuss about the while loop and continue loop also. Let's try to have a definition. This I have taken directly from internet. For loops are used to iterate over a set of values and perform set of operations that are given in the body of the loop. Suppose if you want to execute n number of time the same statement n number of time, so in that case generally we use the looping statement. So as far as projects are concerned, um, programs are concerned, so widely we use for loop statement. Okay, so rather than wasting much time on theory part, let's dive into hands-on session and let's see how to use these three different types of loops in Julia programming language. So already I have opened my Jupyter notebook. So let's start with the for loop statement first. For loop. So the for loop statement, we can generally make use of the keyword called for sports in brand. I think already I had created this in my last video. Okay, sports brand. Let's try to create one the variable here, sports brand, and in. So I'll try to store some values here. Let's say my sports brand be, let's say Adidas. Next I'll try to have Nike. Let's say Nike or Nike. Similarly, I'll try to have one more brand. Let's say Puma. I'll try to have one more brand called Puma. So generally what happens here is I have created one simple variable called sports brand. Inside that sports brand, I have stored three different types of values here. Nothing but sports, Nike and Adidas, Nike and the Puma. So this is a concept of array. So it's the moment when you see this brackets. Okay, I'm storing the value elements in the form of array. Similarly, we can use tuples also. Okay, we can use range also as far as for loop statements are concerned. Simultaneously, we'll try to see how to use tuples. Next, range concepts in Julia programming language using the concept of for loop statement. Next is if I want to print this, so generally what I can do, so I can print using the statement called print of, then you give the variable what you have called or where you have stored the values of the elements like the Adidas, next Nike as well as Puma. So if you want to access this, so what I can do, just call that sports brand variable name. Okay, sports brand. Next is say, okay, so we need to end the loop here. Have a look on this indentation. So the Julia itself will take care of the indentation. Okay, if you compare this technique with the Python, okay, its indentation we can easily by default it itself will take care of the indentation here. Let's try to discuss this. Let's try to execute this. Okay, by pressing on shift and enter, now you can see it has given me the three elements, nothing but Adidas, Nike as well as a Puma, but there is no space here in between the two elements. Suppose let's say I want to have the space, so what I can do here is just give semicolon. Let's try to give semicolon, and in double quotes you give one space here. Okay, so give one space. Next again let's try to execute, okay, the same statement. Now let's see whether it gives me the space. Have a look on this. It has given me the space. Now it is clearly displayed all the three elements which is stored in sports brand, nothing but Adidas, Nike as well as the Puma. In the same way, it is also possible, it's also possible to display line by line. If you want to display line by line, just replace this print keyword with print ln. So I don't want this space anymore because I'm going to display one by one now. Okay, so again shift and enter it, shift and enter. Let's see how the value looks like. So it has given me line by line now, Adidas, Nike and a Puma here. Okay, hope you are clear with this concept. The same way, let's try to explore the statement called for loop using Julia programming language. In the next example, what I will do, I'll try to use one more for loop statement. Let's say now I will try to use index I in. Okay, I'll try to store some values. Let's say Adidas again. Adidas. I'm going to store the value like Adidas. Again, I want to print this line by line. So if I want to print this line by line, each and every words of the elements called Adidas. Okay, so I'll make use of println. Next, call the index called I. Okay, I'll call the index called I. Next, end the statement. Okay, end of the for loop statement. Shift and enter it. Let's see how the value look like now. So it should give me the values in the form of words here. Have a look on this. It has segregated the value in terms of individual words. A, D, I, D, A. Yes, this is how we work on a for loop statement in Julia programming language. Similarly, let's talk about the tuples. Okay, it is also possible to call tuples or store the tuples using for loop statement in Julia programming language. So again, what I will do, I'll try to have one index called say t variable. In t in, let's say the values are 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma, let's try to have 5. Okay, so I'm going to store 5 values in t now. So next is say I want to display this. Okay, so when it comes to displaying the tuples or the tuple value, what we can do is, so straight away I can make use of print statement, print ln for next line by line I want to display all the elements. So call t next end the for loop statement. To end this for loop statement, let's try to have end here. So again, shift and enter it, and let's see what values the for loop statement is going to give me. So it has given me the values like 1 to 5. The major difference between this statement, that is this for loop statement recently what we executed, and this statement is I have used array concepts here, but in the case of this, the last statement, I'm using the tuple concept. Okay, tuple using for loop statement. Now next is, in the same way, let's try to have dictionary, whether it is possible to display the dictionary or not. Let me try to have one small heading here just to avoid the confusion, okay, between the tuples and the dictionary. Let's try to have the heading. So we'll see, okay, how to execute dictionary using for loop statement. So the concept will remain same. Okay, I'll use for loop, for statement. Next is, I'll try to have one variable called d in. So if you want to declare a dictionary, generally what we use, we make use of dict function. Okay, dict function. Next, let's try to have some values. Let's say my first value be car 1. Okay, and the value of that be, let's say, $1,000. In the same way, let's try to have the next value. Let's say car 2, and the value of that is, let's say, $2,000. Okay, $2,000. So that means I have saved 2 elements using the concept of dictionary. Next is, if I want to fetch this value, same, generally we use the same thing. Okay, same concept. Let's say println. Okay, println. Next, my values are stored in d, so I'll call d. Next, just end the statement by using end here. Okay, shift and enter. Let's see what values I'm going to get from dictionary using the for loop statement in Julia programming language. So it has given me, now you can see, it has given me 2 values. Okay, this is nothing but the key, and this is the value. Car 1 is a key, $1,000 is a value here. That means it is also possible to fetch the data of the dictionary using for loop statement. Hope you are clear with this. Next is, let's try to have, okay, I want to declare the values outside of the for loop statement, and I want to fetch the values using the for loop statement. So what I will do, I'll try to have one small variable. Let's say d1. D1. So I'll try to create one dictionary. So if you want to create a dictionary, you can make use of dict value technique here. Dict of, let's say, car1, and the value of that car1 be $1,000. $1,000. Same way, let's try to have car2 and the value of that car2 be $2,000. $2,000. Okay, so I have created now. Let's try to store the values in D1 variable. So next, after successful storing the values in D1 variable, let us say I don't want to display this with the values. Suppose if you don't want to display the values in Julia programming language, just try to use semicolon. Okay, here the semicolons are used to not to display the value, but this Julia will execute that the statement. Okay, so now next is I'll try to call for loop statement. Let's try to fetch the value for D of, okay, D in D1. Next is D in D1. Next is, let's say, print D. Same concept I'm going to use again. Print, let's say print ln I'll use. Print ln D. Next, end the statement. Okay, shift and execute. Okay, to execute you shift and enter it. Let's see what values I'm going to get here. Have a look on this. It has given me the clear values, that is car1 equal to 1,000 and car2 equal to 200, $2,000. This is how we work on dictionary using the for loop statement in Julia programming language. In the same way, let's try to work on sets now. Okay, how to use sets concepts using the for loop statement. So I have created one heading called set here. Let's try to see how to use sets in Julia programming language. So what I will do, I'll try to use the same concept for s in. Okay, suppose if you want to declare a set, we use the method called set here, and set can be called using inside the bracket. Okay, so 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. Let's try to have 5 elements, set element. Next is concept will remain same. Let's try to call this one. Okay, print ln. Next, call the set value, that is nothing but the s here where my data is stored. Next, end the statement. Next is shift and enter it. So it should give me the elements like 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, have a look on this. Okay, it has not sort randomly, it is displaying 1 2 3 4 5. It has displayed. Okay, using the concept. Now next is similarly we'll talk in coming videos. I'll try to discuss about why it has displayed in a random way. Okay, maybe because of some synchronization techniques it is using while displaying the value. We'll try to discuss in coming videos, or while demonstrating the deep learning systems. I'll try to explain these concepts. Now next is, I hope you are clear now how to call the set technique in using the for loop statement in Julia programming language. In the same way, let's try to, it is also possible to call range of values using for loop statement in Julia programming language. So when it comes to range, so I can use same for range in, let's say my range be 1 to 5. Okay, so 1 is to 1 colon 5. Generally we use colon here to have the range of values in between ending value as well as the starting value as well as the ending value, and the concept will remain same. Print ln I'll use so that I can avoid that double quotes to give the space, and give the space in Julia programming language. Again, I'll call the variable called range. Next, enter. End the statement by using the keyword called end here. So let's try to see how the values are displayed. Have a look on this. So it has displayed the values using the format called 1 2 3 4 5 here. And now next is most important. I think I have not explained this in my previous video regarding about the macros. It is also possible to use macros in Julia programming language. So I'll use the macros now, okay, to display the value in using range technique. For range, let's say range in 1:5. Let's try to have 1:5. Now next, I'll try to use inbuilt macro. So if you want to use inbuilt macros in Julia programming language, you can use @show. Okay, so this is an inbuilt macro. Generally we use in technique, generally we use in Julia programming language. So let's try to have range. Next, end the statement. Okay, end the statement, and let's see what values I'm going to get. Obviously I should get the values like 1 to 5 here. Okay, so the major difference here is here I'm using a range technique, here I'm using the simple pretty straightforward technique, okay, of range, that is 1:5. Okay, and just straight away I'm printing the value by making use of the println statement. But here in this case I'm using the macro technique. Have a look on this. Okay, so it has displayed me very beautifully. Range equal to 1, range equal to 2, range equal to 3, so on. Okay, so that means it is also possible to use the macros in Julia programming language. Same way, let's try to have some simple example. Let's say I want to display the even number. Okay, suppose say I want to display the even number from range 1 to 10. Okay, let's say for x of, I'll try to create one variable x in, I'll try to give the range now. Range should be, let's say, okay, so 1 to 10. I want to display the even number from 1 to 10 now. Okay, I'll use in inner loop, I'll use if statement. Okay, if x divided by 2, okay, if the value remainder is 0, then print as an even number. Okay, so I'm going to print even number now. So next is print x. Print, let's say print ln, I'll use print ln x. Print ln x. Next, end the if statement. Next, again you end the for loop statement. What I felt here is, if you compare this one with the Python programming language, okay, in Julia we need to every loop or every conditional variable or the conditional statement, we should end with the end statement. Now the problem here is, if you're calling nested if statement, so let's say you have called 3 statements, so that means I have to end the loop with 3 end statement. So the best example here is, if I'm calling here inner loop, I have to end with end statement. The same way for loop I'm calling, okay, I have to end that one with the end statement. That means if you are calling let's say around 4 to 5 inner loop statements, so again I have to call 4 to 5 end statement. What I felt here, the community Julia programming, the people who are working behind Julia programming language, they should come up with some kind of a solution, okay, to avoid calling end statement, okay, again and again or repeatedly in Julia programming language. Shift and enter it. Let's see, okay, what values I'm going to get. Obviously I should get the even values here. So it has given me the even values. Let's say 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. Okay, so very in an easy way it has displayed the program. So you can take the assignment, okay, if you are interested. So you can convert, you can use the same technique to display the prime numbers also. Okay, next is let's try to have another simple example. Okay, same even number I will display, but using the some other technique here, using the for loop statement. Again, for I in, let's say I in 1:10, 1:10. So that is nothing but that is going to be my range here. Let's say my range is 1:10. Next I'll call one more, let's say j, another variable j equals to I am going to multiply that with into 10. Okay, if you want to multiply, you can make use of asterisk symbol, asterisk of 10. I'm going to multiply that and I'm going to store that value in j. Print of print ln, let's try to have print ln. Okay, print ln of let's say dollars of j. Okay, so if I want to display the same number, okay, which is stored in j, dollars of j, okay, dollars of j is multiplication between, let's say between, multiplication between, okay, let's say that particular number, that is, okay, whatever the number what you have stored in the index called I. Okay, so the next is multiplication of I and 10 and 10. Let's try to execute this and let's see what values I'm going to get here. Shift and enter it. So it should give me the values with the multiplication. Okay, so have a look on this. 10 it has given, okay, 10 for 1 into 10, 2 into 10, 3 into 10, like that, okay, till 10 into 10 is nothing but the 100 here. So hope you are clear, okay, how this how generally we use for loop statement in Julia programming language. Let's talk about the another statement called continue statement. Okay, so generally if you want to break the loop and you want to continue the other statement, generally we use continue statement. Even the Julia supports for continue a statement also. Let's try to use for loop statement for I in. Let's try to have the range from 1 to 10. Okay, 1 to 10. If I is divided with, so that means I'm going to have 2, okay, divided with 0, let's say equals to 0, okay, equals to 0, then continue statement I'll have. Okay, so continue statement, continue. Next is I'll try to end my for loop if statement. In the same way I'll try to print the values which is stored in I. Now you can pause the video and you can analyze what result I'm going to get here. So here what happens here is, if this is a statement, okay, so it will consider it as a false. So instead of displaying the even number, it try to display the odd number. This is very important. This is very important concepts. Maybe you can expect this one in interview, during interview or any objective type of the questions, okay, which are prepared by the companies in the first round. Let's try to execute this and let's see what values I'm going to get here, whether I'm going to get the even number or a odd number. Shift and enter it. Let's see what values I'm going to get. So it should give me the values like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So that means it has given me the odd values here. Okay, odd number of values. Let's try to print this one, okay, line by line by making use of print ln a statement. Shift and enter it. Let's see, 1, 3, it should give me 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay, so pretty straightforward it is. Okay, continuous statements are used in for loop statement in this way. Now next is we can have while loop statement also. Let's try to talk about while loop statement. Let's try to discuss about while loop. Okay, so in while loop, what I will do, I'll try to have some increment, like I'll try to put the condition if the number is lesser than or smaller than, okay, and what the decisions to be taken. Let's say a is lesser than 10. A is lesser than 10. So if a is lesser than 10, let's try to print the value. Okay, so that means it should give me the value till 9. Okay, because the moment when the statement is lesser than 10, it should come out of the while loop a statement. Okay, let's try to print the value with a, and I want to increment, and I want to increment this a statement, okay, with the 1. So if I want to increment, you can call that using a plus equals to 1. Next, end the statement, shift and enter it. Let's see, okay, what values I'm going to get here. So obviously there is some error here. What is that error? Unexpected equal. So we was getting an error here because this is a new thing what we are going to learn in Julia programming language. So the first error was I have not declared the variable here. Okay, so we need to declare the variable. Say the value of my variable. I have declared the variable, but I have not declared the value for that variable. Okay, so a equals to, let's try to have 1. So I don't want to display this value. Okay, on the next line, the moment when I execute this, so it got executed. Now the next is, even if I run this, okay, even if I run this, it should give me unexpected equals to here. Now if you want to increment, okay, in conditional statement called while loop, okay, increment, so call this plus, okay, like this, a space. Now next is call this symbols plus sign equals to together equals to 1. Now next let's try to run this. Okay, shift and enter it, and it should display me all the values right from 1 to 9. If the condition is lesser than 10, it should come out of the loop. Hope you are clear with this concept. If you really like my video, please subscribe our channel for upcoming videos. Thank you very much.